Collective, welcome. I'm Nikki, your local vegan tarotist. So I have a little bit of a time limit here. For me, it's a time limit. I've got 56 minutes on my phone right now because I have the other video that I have not uploaded yet. So I'm under pressure to keep it under 56 minutes. That's pressure for me. Do y'all see my new Kokopelli earrings? Super excited about them. They were at a local thrift store that I did not even know was here, thankfully, because some of you know I have quite the thrift shopping addiction. That I've been looking for copper colored earrings because my other favorite pieces that I wear consistently are copper, my 8-point sun, so Leo energy. But Kokopelli is the music maker. It's all about joy and almost like hedonism. All right, so fixed signs are often hedonistic. So because they have that nature of when they're all in, or when they're into something, they're all in it. They find something they like, they're going to do it as much as they can. So there's a bit of indulgence here. And maybe you're buying yourself something nice, or you're splurging a little bit. These were $1.50, so you know, a splurge doesn't have to be something very expensive, but it could be that thing that you're like, oh, I don't know if I deserve this, or maybe I should work a little bit harder. It's like, you know, or maybe you're going through some sort of financial stressors, or you're kind of in that miser energy of the Four of Pentacles, where you're like, I gotta hold on to everything. I gotta make sure I have enough. You have more than enough. Keep affirming that. You have more than enough. The universe is not on a budget, okay? But I don't know. I saw Kokopelli. It's like I saw Kokopelli live. Maybe you're going to a concert, but I saw Kokopelli when I was pretty young, either in like 5th or 6th grade. I just remember seeing it. And when I started sketching ideas for tattoos, I mean, I would just do kind of little characters. A lot of my inspiration came from that, right? Like my probably favorite tattoo was very Kokopelli cave painting inspired, as far as its aesthetic. I'm gonna turn the heater off because it's not very cold anymore. So, what have we learned? What have we been learning about this connection? All right. We've learned by serving yourself, you serve the collection, and then you serve the collection. You've served the connection and the collection. Pay attention to your dreams. All right. I feel like there are maybe insidious energies revealing themselves to you in your dreams, like your divine counterpart will reveal themselves to you in your dreams. So will the other ones. And this isn't a ominous, oh my gosh, you've got insidious energy around you, watch out. It's like, just be aware of it, right? The more education you have on predators, and that's in the wild, that's in human animals and non-human animals, right? You know, you wouldn't go hiking in grizzly territory without maybe some bear spray, right? So and bear is also Virgo energy, but Four of Pentacles popping out right at the beginning here. So there's like this, maybe this fear-based energy in your life has been it's a big contributing factor, because energetically, law of attraction, if you're putting out, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough this or that, or you know, if you're not happy with your appearance or something like that, if you're feeling, I feel like somebody's been feeling ugly because of these insidious energies around them, because that's what will happen. If you've ever been in a narcissistic connection, you know, or a toxic connection of any kind, you can see, right? There's that song, you look so good in love, you want him. So there could be a past person it's easy to see, I wish you still want to meet me. So it might not be so insidious that it's like somebody, but there could just be somebody peeking at you from the past. That's kind of like somebody could be adopted here, because I am getting how a mother might give their child up for adoption, and then they meet the parents, and the parents that take them on, they have the resources. They're sure they want to be parents because they've gone through struggles or whatever, so they've set themselves up so that the other stressors that it primarily influence people who have kids just by accident or out of some sort of, narcissistic need or fulfillment, which is the most common reason that people have children. Very few people have children because they're like, I want to bring a child into this earth. Because if you thought about that and considered that, the likelihood of you wanting to bring a child into this world is going to be, there's going to be very few reasons why you would want to do that to a human being that you love. But I digress. But then they see, when the adoptive mother and the biological mother meet each other, there's something about, I'm really, the best decision that they could have made was give them up, because they didn't have the resources. They didn't have, and, they were working through too many things, and having a direct mirror, 6:06 on the clock here, having that direct mirror to teach you, because children will teach you to love yourself. And if you're not ready for that, that's going to be a major trigger, and you will become reactive and resentful towards the child for being a mirror of you and the person that you chose. And if you didn't choose somebody that you're happy with, then that's going to be a direct mirror of that decision that you have to grow and learn from and forgive yourself for. And the hardest thing to do is to just forgive yourself and release the idea that you're anything but human. So I don't know where that's coming in to a love reading, but that could, something about maybe your parental dynamics could be a contributing factor to why you've been in this miser energy of I don't have enough, I'm not enough. If you were ever given up for adoption, or maybe if there was like a contemplation about being aborted, I believe, and many of you here are going to also probably understand that we experience life from the moment of incarnation. So in utero, we are already experiencing the world around us. And so if you have, and you're directly linked to your mother, and if they're thinking, you hold their thoughts. King of Swords, could be an air sign father figure here. But then that song, I Will Be Your Father figure. So this person's going to help you heal a lot of these parental wounds. The moon, Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio. So you could have like a water mother, an air sign masculine parental figures. And that could be mirroring itself in this connection. But I don't remember where I was going with that. I got off track with but you experience that, so you already feel that you already have those abandonment wounds. You already have those sort of neglectful wounds of someone who's rejecting you, and somebody possibly rejected you in the past. This could be a big test for you coming in if this is a past person, because this may be somebody that you really kind of overly invested in, pined for, hoped that they would change or want you or pick you, and they didn't. And that was, of course, divine protection. Rejection is always divine protection, because we have free will. And if somebody doesn't choose to be in your life, somebody doesn't choose to treat you how you want to be treated, the movie Frank, Libra energy with this King of Swords possibly, where with Michael Fassbender, maybe the name Michael, but Michael Fassbender, he wears this constructed head, paper mache constructed head, some kind of, I don't know what the materials are, but anyway, maybe somebody was like a mascot in school, or like, I just watched the 5 Year Engagement where he wears the big bunny suit or something. So maybe you meet this person, or something about like costumes. You might be exploring some of these things in your sex life with this person, as well, like some of these fractures and these wounds, but in like a healing way. How like BDSM can be used in a very healing way, where you can replicate certain triggers. You may have experienced some sort of abuse in the past that you might explore in here. That's very specific, but yeah, somebody's sort of, I'm just seeing somebody in like a suit, also Donnie Darko. So maybe the name Don, Donald, Jake Gyllenhaal plays in that. So does his sister. So there's Sagittarius and Scorpio. Somebody could be a cusper, or someone could be one of those signs or have those placements. Something about that season as well. But there's that predictive, I'm getting predictive text, but there's this predictive text, which is like biblical reference of any culture, right? It's all prophetic. All right, and we know that there's been a prophecy being fulfilled here. And so there's like this predictive text. That could be something in your, maybe somebody's sending a message and it's going to send something not what they wanted to say, because their, autocorrect or whatever intervenes as it does. But there is like this, like doom and gloom energy around an individual, and it could be the masculine here with that Donnie Darko energy, but the bunny suit, and his name is his name Frank too? I'm seeing an R. So somebody could have an R in their name, but Frank, isn't his name the guy that he talks to? The bunny. Anyway, so something about rabbits, bunnies, mythical creatures like the jackalope, also the name Jack again. Or no, not again, because I said Jake. But Jake or Jack could be. Here, so there is, somebody's bringing balance to this miser energy, right? And no one can tell you that you're enough. You have to feel that. But sometimes you need an external confirmation, because you can say, yes, I'm enough, I'm amazing, you can do all the affirmations, but if everyone around you is only taking from you, they're only insidious, manipulative, toxic people, it's like you've been attracting so much of this to clear these cycles of these abandonment wounds, these wounds of neglect or insufficiency or lack of value, your value system. But you can think, oh, I'm wonderful, I'm amazing. You can say these things all the time. But then if you don't have anything that mirrors that back to you, it can be quite discouraging. So this is, sometimes we need somebody to come in and show us what love looks like. I'm sure many of us here as cycle breakers know exactly what we don't want, but to fathom what we do want, we've never seen a representation of it. It's going to be kind of difficult. Because even if you pick apart past connections and you're like, well, I liked this about them or I liked that about them, if it devolved into something toxic or revealed itself as something toxic, then you may go, well, then was all of that a lie? So maybe I don't want that in a person. Maybe I'm not attracted to that in a person, So something with that. Evaluating what you actually want so you can call it in. But we have this King of Swords with the Two of Wands, which is somebody traveling and bringing communication across the possible World Wide Web here. So across the internet, we don't call it the World Wide Web anymore, because it's not like dial-up. You're maybe from the dial-up era. Ace of Pentacles with the Moon here. So there's something coming out of the blue. There's some sort of clarity being brought in, and the clarity is this confirmation of value, of investment, this offer of investment. it's like, oh, you know, why does nobody want to invest in me? And I think that this started for a lot of you as early as in utero, right? At the time of conception. I was going to say inception. So, yeah, with your dreams. Your dreams are very important. The album by Eric Dingus, How Are Your Dreams? And on the thumbnail, it's a pink image of a girl, kind of looks like Avril Lavigne or something, taking like a drop of acid. High Priestess. So yeah, you could have explored some sort of death. You could have explored some sort of DMT experience or ayahuasca, peyote, whatever. What's that other one? Combo. I don't fucking condone that. Leave the frogs alone. Come on, man. Get high on life, not frogs. But anyway, get high on life, not frogs. Yeah, there could have been like a codependency between, you know, you got to kiss a lot of frogs to meet your prince. So maybe there was a long line for the feminine of kissing frogs. The Hanged Man. I mean, that's more Pisces energy here, yes, with referring to dreams. So yeah, the masculine could have some Pisces placements. But this gives me like a martyr. See, because they're in front of the whole town. They're all by themselves. So there is sort of this like self-sacrificial energy of woe is me. And that's not to say you don't have a right to feel that way. I mean, you have a right to feel however you feel. But I feel that there was good reason that you were not feeling so high and mighty. So you weren't really self-actualized. Yeah, 8 of Pentacles. So the lover, somebody's working on themselves, right? Giving to the self, changing the cycle of value, of what you invest your energy into. Because if all you see around you is, like, all you're attracting is low vibrational frequencies, then if you understand the law of attraction, then you know like attracts like. Then there's something in you that did not feel worthy of anything other than that. Judgment. This could be self-judgment, and also it's Judgment Day, meaning it's time. It's time for the world around you to fall, right? And to rise to heaven. If you think about that biblical reference of Judgment Day, this is like your own personal Judgment Day. Also more Libra energy here. Something with the judicial system could be important, because we have like the Hangman and Judgment. So that's kind of like feeling guilty, you know? You're guilty. Oh gosh, I'm picturing a scene from a movie, and I'm only getting like a fragment of it, where it's a dream and it's somebody's like pointing at I think a kid, and they're like, you you know, and they're like sentenced to death for, I don't know, I'm just going to throw this out because I can't think of it, and I'm just going to butcher it if I try. But like the kid steals a lollipop, and then they have a dream that they're like, you're getting hanged, you know, like I sentence you to death for stealing a lollipop, you know. So it's like your own internalized guilt and inability to forgive yourself for being someone who overgave to a connection or didn't see the signs, you know. I saw the sign and it opened up my eyes. I saw the sign. No one's gonna drag you up, take you into the light where you belong. Yeah, no one's gonna do it for you. 6 of Wands here and Page of Wands. This is taking, and this 2 of Wands, like it's taking, you could have been like indecisive for a long time. I don't know which way to go. You were waiting to follow somebody else's lead. And if you didn't have very strong parental figures, then maybe you just, particularly a father figure. then you didn't know how to lead. But even if you have like a shoddy maternal figure, they don't, and you are a feminine, if you're a female feminine, then you don't know how to be feminine. You don't know how to attract the right people. So you could have witnessed a mother choosing a lot of like really toxic men, or a father only giving to really toxic women. So then you're like, well, which one should I be? Because we inevitably are attracted to facets of our family, because that's what we know. That's what we're looking for in a partner's facets of our family, for better or for worse. And so if you're like, well, I want to be with someone like my dad, right? Or you're a boy and you're like, oh, I want to be with someone like my mom, but they're toxic. Or you have a mom that's only attracting toxic men. Then as a young boy growing up, you're going to look at that and be like, well, maybe I should be toxic because I need, in order to get a mate, in order to get a partner, because that's what worked for my mom. And my mom and your dad, your mom and your dad, like their word and their actions are gospel, right? That's like the predictive text. So this is about breaking that cycle, not repeating that cycle, and saying, you know what, yeah, that's what they did. And for a young girl, like if your mom is only attracted to toxic men, then you're like, oh, that's what I deserve, because that's what my mom deserves, thinks she deserves anyway. So the parental dynamics are really woven into how you've chosen partners and how you're deciding you don't want to choose partners anymore. Yes, the Six of Wands came out, flew to the ground, and flipped upside down. So this is your value system. You were like, I don't deserve these accolades. I don't deserve, like if you're doing something in work, Wands can be about work. If you're doing something in work, or some sort of passion project, and you start getting recognition, you're going to reject that. You're going to reject that, or you're not even going to pursue it, because you're like, I don't deserve accolades. I don't deserve respect, loyalty, admiration, and essentially love. I don't deserve love. That was what this was. But see, the way I picked it up is, yes, you do, collective. You deserve this, okay? So keep telling that to yourself. Keep telling that to yourself. Because what you say about yourself is how you feel about yourself. And how you feel about yourself is what you're going to mirror out into the world, which means that's what you're going to attract. So the Queen of Pentacles, yes, very heavy in the feminine side of realizing your value. And see, this Queen of Pentacles has done sort of this, you could be a life path far. You could your moon sign could be very important here. But see, it's not a full moon. Like even her face is a half moon and the rest of it is shaded. It's like this is a feminine who's had to work through not expressing themselves in their full glory. And that's because, why is this? Because the ego's in the way. The ego is how we view the self, right? We all have an ego. You cannot kill the ego. You can transmute it. An ego death is an ego rebirth, right? You're never without ego. So any of these fucking spiritual gurus that tell you like you need to obliterate the ego and ascend. No. The only way to ascend is to descend. That means going within. That means that hermit energy of self-analysis and doing all the work of the major arcana in solitude. But I digress again. But here, this is the earth. The ego is blocking the sun from the moon. So there's because it's in its shadow, right? This is full illumination. Like, oh my gosh, look at you. You deserve this. You deserve this love. And so changing that mindset, having that flip, that tower, something's coming in to challenge the way you view yourself in a good way. In a way that, we all have free will. You can take this opportunity and the Chariot, Cancerian energy. Also moon energy. It's like following your heart, following the way that you feel. And if you've been feeling shitty about yourself, then you're going to follow shit and you're going to attract shit. So this Tower is someone or something coming in to challenge your reality and give you an opportunity to leap into a world romanticized, a life romanticized. It's okay to romanticize. It's okay to dream. It's like, here's that Tower. Thank you. The Tower, the Four of Cups, that miser energy in love, holding back. But that's good here because you're not just, you're waiting for what you wished for, right? You're waiting for this offer to come out of the clouds. And coming out of the clouds is coming out of your dreams, right? So not just looking at your dreams as some sort of torture device, but as a tool to manifest your person. And here we have the Knight of Wands. Could be a younger fire sign, masculine. But this is also like the Chariot, because this is a chariot that's not moving. And then this is the individual, in Cancer is cardinal water, right? So that's the fire underneath the water. It gets that water bubbling. And this is the bubble. This is the bubble. Maybe something with bubbles. Like maybe you like bubbles. I don't know. Maybe you have tattoos of bubbles, or maybe you have a Kokopelli tattoo. Like there's something about ink, but for me and many people who have tattoos, your tattoos and your scars, external and internal, they're a map. They're like a celestial map of your existence, of your experiences, of who you are and how you come to be who you are. And not regretting anything from the past, not rejecting anything from the past, right? Accepting it as part of yourself. Yeah, I did that thing. Yeah, I overgave to these different connections. Or yeah, I maybe you went to school for something that somebody else told you should go to school for. You invested a lot of time and energy into getting this job, but it wasn't your dream job. It was somebody else's dream. You were following somebody else's dream. And so the best way to heal, because that whole narcissistic and approach to having children, a lot of times those parents will want the child to do the things that they never did, but instead of asking the child, what do you want to do, and letting them explore what they want to do outside of them, right? A narcissist cannot view another person as being separate from them, or having their own autonomy. The song Autonomy by Boy Harsher is also just a good song, but there could be something in the lyrics there. Boy Harsher's birthday, maybe. Also, Boy Harsher is in that movie Bronson. Maybe the name Charles, Chuck or Chucky, Charlie or Charlotte. And also he's Tom Hardy. But the soundtrack, that's an incredible soundtrack, first of all. But somebody's putting on their armor. I get this knight coming in. Because a lot of the struggle has been on the feminine side. Not to say that this masculine hasn't experienced struggles, but their struggles have not been something that I don't feel that their struggles, how do I want to say that? I don't feel the masculine struggles quite severed them from themselves the way that this feminine feels, this like severance. Someone could be getting like a severance package or something. So yeah, maybe you invested in a job that you didn't like, but you get a severance package, or you're retired, or and you may think it's too late for love, or it's too late to start my own business, or become, financially independent or whatever. Like, you feel that miser energy is like, I have to hold on to what I have because I don't have enough. But yes, the universe is not on a budget, and neither is love. Love is not on a budget. 13, death. A lot of scorpionic energy here. Endings. It's an ego death. This ego death is initiating the rebirth of this union. Ruin. 10 of Swords. That's the end of self-deception. That's the end of letting others deceive you. And you can be like, oh, I was deceived. No, you're becoming the narcissist. You're getting so well versed on insidious, it's like, what is the actress in the movies Insidious, the one that goes in, starts with a T, I think. I could be way off. But anyway, she goes in. Also, Andrea Riseborough, because I'm thinking of The Grudge, 2020, The Grudge. Maybe 2020 was a significant year for you. I think it was a significant year for most of us, because a lot of people did have to kind of like get resourceful outside of the systems, because the systems were all crumbling. So it actually empowered the peoples, which was kind of like that whole thing backfired on the false magicians. Let's just say, if you know, you know. The Spiritualist, 5 of Swords. And that is also like inner conflict. See, usually the 5 of Swords is a group of people like attacking each other and fighting with each other. But this is someone, see, they're separate from themselves. There's some sort of fracture. But Andrea Riseborough, she's in The Grudge 2020, and I was thinking with that separation from self. See, it's funny how I was getting off track and the cards just put me back on track, because I'm getting that image from the movie Possessor. You could have felt like you were possessed. You could have experienced a possession. People maybe thought you were crazy. I was just watching the Exorcism of Emily Rose. So maybe Emily or Emma Rose, those could be important symbols or confirmations for you. Maybe you like EDM music quite a bit, like house music or like trance music. There's something about its the tones in there that connect you with like your celestial, I was going to say past life and afterlife at the same time, because it's all spherical and it's all happening at the same time. The movie Arrival is also important. The name Hannah, Amy, Adam, James. Is that his name? James? Who plays in Arrival? Who's the man that plays in Arrival? I believe is he a Taurus? Or an Aries? Maybe he's an April Taurus. Drip, drip, drop, little April Taurus. Who this? Something about a burial ground, memorial site, a cemetery. So yeah, you could be healing this connection with a parental figure. They could be passed on, right? And that sort of severance, it feels like part of you is severed, for better or for worse, whether it was a happy, healthy connection or not. It's still like a part of you has died, because a literal part of you that made you has died, possibly. But sometimes that's the only way that we can forgive somebody, because we always think of people posthumously in a favorable light. At memorials, at funerals, they're always spoken about like they were, all the good things are brought up. No one goes up there and goes, yeah, they were an alcoholic, they were a narcissist, they were fucking manipulative, gaslighting son of a bitch. They don't go up there and say these things about these people. They're, they were a great father, great mother, they were so bright and shiny and blah, 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 blah. But when you do like lay people to rest energetically, and you sort of you do that cord cutting process, it is like a severance from the self. It is allowing that part to pass on, even if the person is still alive. So it's like a coming to terms with the way that connection will never actually be a connection. It will always be like a attachment. And you, as part of your parents, equal parts your parents, right, can finally, it's like cutting the what is that? And that's also a maternal healing, Peace, Love, and Misunderstanding with Jane Fonda. So something in that film could be important to you or confirmation to you. But you know, there's a scene where they have a balloon with a rock on it. They cut the string, and please don't litter. Please don't litter the sky. But it's that sense of emotional balloon cutting, and letting it rise up and into the ethers, giving it to the ethers. So some sort of ceremony that you're doing, whether it's a literal death or an energetic death, it's like some sort of ceremony or that you're doing. And maybe you did it around the full moon. You know, the moon is always full, so you can do a full moon ceremony anytime that you choose, essentially. Of course, the energy is at its peak during the new and the full moon, so maybe something around the new moon, where it is like completely going on faith because you can't see the moon. Whereas a full moon, it's like, well, you can see things around you a lot better than you could in any other phase. So it's almost like doing a release ceremony in a full moon is it's kind of like, I don't want to say it's more novice, but it makes it a little bit easier for you. So if this is something you're shaky at, or it's very challenging for you, doing a releasing ceremony during a full moon could be beneficial, because you might need that confirmation that the moon is there. Whereas if you're trying to do it, and especially if you're doing some sort of feminine releasing and feminine work, because the moon is feminine, if you're doing that feminine work, because you could be a masculine doing this with your mother as well, like doing some sort of releasing with the mother, and you know, maybe you had an abusive father and you just witnessed your mother take it, and there's some sort of rejection of the feminine for that, or some sort of resentment towards the feminine for that, or maybe your mother did not protect you, or there are a lot of very there are a lot of ways in which we can feel these separations from ourselves with our parents, and they will inevitably, surely, 100% affect the way that we love ourselves and the way that we choose and receive and give love later. But yeah, maybe doing this ceremony underneath a full moon will help you so that you don't feel so kind of lost and alone. But as you get more practice with it, or if you're just like, you know what, I'm willing to just go for it blindly, a new moon ceremony could be really helpful as well. Anyway, it's a lot there. All right, so I think we're good. Yeah, the Page of Pentacles. The Page of Pentacles, this has been a very slow process. This has taken quite a bit of your life and energy to do this cord cutting, to do this work. And see the deer here, that is representing Gemini, which is the lovers, right? It's also represented by Mercurial energy. Or Gemini represents Mercurial. It's represented by Mercury and the Magician. That's the one. The Magician. Cool. And I do want to pull from the Disney cards, because I like the idea of feeding into this 13. More scorpionic energy. Also 4. 4 is the magician, right? 4 is alchemy of the elements. It's the elementalist. So life path 4 or the emperor and the empress are both alchemists, because divine alchemists and magicians, because they are the culmination of all the queens, all 4 queens and all 4 kings, all 4 elements, right? And yes, there is the 5th element, right? But that is the magician. It's like the culmination of the 4 creates the 5th, right? The combination of also bringing comfort and peace to your 5 senses helps to open up to the 6th sense. So we've talked about that before, where it's, you know, you look at what is antagonizing your sound, right? You could be an R list and very sensitive to sound. You know, it's diagnosed as misophonia, right? Where you are like, ugh, people chewing or certain repetitive sounds are very antagonistic to your internal environment because you're sensitive of the ears. You could have like a sensitivity to lights, right? Getting like blue light glasses, watching what you're watching, watching what you're looking at, but also visual clutter is very antagonistic to your peace of mind. Particularly for women, that's just like a little biological sort of psychological difference, where it is truly, it affects, visual clutter affects women differently than it does men. That's not to say that men are all messy and and women can't be messy, but it does something biologically. It creates a lot of hormonal influx. Cortisol levels spike. So this is like balancing you're balancing yourself with that 2 of Pentacles, balancing yourself. You know, what are you consuming? What are you tasting? You know, look at your 5 senses. What are you putting into your body? How does it taste? Are you eating things that you enjoy? Or are you eating them just because they're there, they're easy? You know, it's not like with the pies. Well, it depends on which. I think this one will probably upload faster because it's shorter. But maybe I'll just upload the other one first, just so that they're in a sequence. But there was like, I was really focused on this pie card in this deck, and it felt like this sort of consuming things that are enjoyable and maybe nostalgic, right? So like your favorite childhood meal or something like that, consuming that maybe, and maybe you can incorporate this as part of your spell work and your ceremonies to help come to a place of peace and acceptance with these connections that were antagonistic to you in the beginning of your life. You know, smells, like, are you, and this is very Taurian energy, right? Because Taurus, the Hierophant, is also they break tradition, right? So it's like breaking with convention, breaking the mold. You are the one to break the mold. You're the one to break the cycle, and you break the cycle by healing the cycle. So by bringing ease to yourself, maybe you had like a very erratic mother or father who lashed out a lot, and it's like because they didn't do this work. So you're doing this work, and by doing this work, you're healing a part of them that they didn't have the means to heal for whatever reason. There are a plethora of reasons why people don't do the work. There are a lot more reasons why people probably don't do the work than why people do the work, right? But we have a rose again, so roses are important here. And so I do see somebody maybe visiting a gravesite, or you know, again, if you're laying someone to rest, you're not wishing death upon somebody if they are still living. What you're doing is you're saying, I'm honoring you as if I was memorializing you for all the good that you did do in my life. And even the bad that you did in my life made me realize the good in me. Because when you see so much bad around you, so much evil around you, so much wrong around you, you're just like, that's not it. That's not the thing. That's not how I want to be. And when you see these connections and you go, well, that's the type of person my mother is attracted to. That's the type of person that my father's attracted to. And they are not happy. So maybe I should do it differently. So there's this shift, and you've always been on to it. You've always been like an observer of this like unhealthy environment, this imbalanced environment. But there's a switch happening to where you're realizing that you actually have the power. This could have happened years ago, right? It could just be happening to you. You could just be going through it right now. We're all on different timelines, right? But it's when you realize this and when you invest in yourself in a way that says, I'm okay with how everything turned out, right? Because here I am as the culmination of and the result of those things. And I like myself. I'm pretty damn cool. I'm a good person. I have a good heart, a strong heart. I believe in love. Through all this, I've still been able to believe in love. You're here, so you obviously believe in this grand love, this fairy tale. Other people will call it a fairy tale, right? 13 roses. If I had 2 dozen roses and an old bottle of wine, something. If I tried a little harder, could I change your mind? Yeah, I really do feel like somebody from the past, and it could be a parent that's coming in now that you're healing, or you've severed yourself, you've done that cord cutting. They can feel that. If it is a narcissistic parent, narcissists absolutely feel that, and then they come back with the love bombing and the hoovering and all that shit. So don't fall for it. You're smarter than that, okay? But this could be a past lover as well that's coming in like, oh, well, you look so good in love. Because whether you've met your person or not in the 3D, you're with them, right? Like in yesterday's reading that I'm going to upload today. It's like you're indulging in this love in a spiritual way. Your energy is on the frequency of, I'm already in this partnership, because you already are in the 5D. You're already married to your twin flame in the 5D. The union has already occurred there. It's bringing it into the 3D that is the challenge, which is why we choose this silly incarnation, so that we can get there, so we can experience what our celestial twin feels like in the 3D, because we want to have that sensory experience, right? City of Angels, he cannot feel touch, and he takes that leap of faith off the tower. Capricorn energy, and also with the tower, Aries and Scorpio again. Are we done here? Okay. 14. It was just letting me talk. It was letting me channel. 14 and 18. Could be a 4-year difference between you two. Pocahontas and Brave. The Sunflower and Arrow. So that's Sagittarius and Leo there. And then we have the Hummingbird and 3s. All right, somebody could be a Ginger here, but there's like 3s here, which is the Holy Union, the Holy Trinity, or the Holy Union, right? 14 is 5, and then 18 is 9, right? So those could be important as well. We've got the butterfly, the raccoon. Somebody could have kind of like, and I do get, you could be dressing up somehow. You could have met this person on Halloween, or somebody's birthday could be around Halloween. But there's something about like you dressing up, and I see like the winged eyes. Somebody could have like the winged eyeliner on or something, like the raccoon. Raccoons also kind of tragically represent, you know, someone who has black eyes. So that could just be another confirmation for somebody. I mean, maybe this person has very dark eyes, or like has, you know, the the dark circles or something like that. But this is someone who's reaching out of that, right? Reaching out of that abuse, that trauma, that whatever that is, the sleepless nights, feeling tired or downtrodden, right? Like when you're unhappy and when you're giving your energy to takers, you will inevitably feel drained. It's either reaching, this is like the hope of somebody reaching for that butterfly, reaching for that rebirth. And Pocahontas, it feels, she's very linked. You could have had, like, maybe your only salvation in your childhood was like an older, like matriarch, because she has the grandmother Willow, the name Willow as well. I was getting Willow from one of the cards, and then I went away from it. But yeah, the movie Willow. Warwick Davis. Val Kilmer. Matriarch of Shields. Queen of Pentacles. I love this for the feminine. I mean, I love this for the masculine too, because now you get a feminine. Now you get to like connect with your feminine who understands their value. So that's going to be beautiful for both of you. But as a feminine, I'm really, I'm going to support. I'm a girl's girl. I'm going to support feminines who are feeling empowered and healing themselves, because you really do, feminines. You call your masculines in. You call them in the 5D, because you are the ruler of the 5D, feminines. You are the magician, the alchemist of the 5D. All right, we're almost out of time. So, I think that's plenty anyhow. So I hope there was something in here for you, collective. Thank you so much for your support, your patience, bearing with me as the chariot. Ooh, now that chariot's moving. See, once this breakthrough happens, it's the masculine's like, I'm on my way. So they just need to know that you're truly available, not just single, right? But truly available in your heart. And then they're just gonna come to you like a tracker beam. But I want these loves to come together, not just for my own sake, because I'm also going through it with y'all. But because these loves are so important to the collective, and fuck, the collective needs it. The world needs needs this kind of love. The world always needs love. Love, 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 love. So, hopefully there's something in here for you, and thank you again. Much, much gratitude for all of the support, interactions, like, share, subscriptions, donations. It all helps so that I'm able to continue doing this. And until next time, I wish you well.